All right, everybody. This is Andreas Hale, senior combat sports writer at the Sporting News, and I'm joined by none other than Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard, multiple-time All-Star for the Portland Trail Blazers, and boxing aficionado. Bruh, talking to you about boxing is something that I couldn't wait to do. It ain't about hoops, so you must be excited to talk about this and not have to talk about the NBA for once.
At this point, man, I'd be more excited to talk about boxing than I am basketball. That's been like my life every day for my whole life. So as much as I love it, it's like being kind of a distant but close part of like the boxing world it's been a joy for me.
Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. One, how important is this fight to the boxing community? Because like I know, these fights don't get made regularly, right? This fight got made. Two guys under 30, two guys with tremendous upsides. There's no title on the line. Yeah. But this is for bragging rights. This is for the future. What do you think about this fight? And how do you think it plays out?
I love the fight. Like, I love this fight happening. Like, because people usually like, man, the business and don't price yourself out. And, you don't have a belt and all that stuff. Like, these dudes, they want to scrap. They want to fight. They don't like each other. I know Ryan. Like, I've done commercials with Ryan. I've seen Ryan around plenty of times. Me and him have had conversations consistently. And I'm also really tight with Leonard Ellerbe. Like, he's like, I would say Leonard is probably the person, him and Dre are the people that I know like the best in boxing. And Chris Mannix, I know him well too. But Dre and Leonard, I know both of them really well. So I kind of like know Tank a little bit through Leonard, you know what I'm saying? But I'm happy that they made the fight. It ain't about none of the other stuff that you typically hear. They made the fight. It's a big fight. Ryan has a big following. Tank has a big following. They both still young, and it's right. It's time. But I think it's been, it's been times where I see Ryan go in there and I'm like, man, this dude can knock anybody out in that division. Like, he can knock anybody out. And then you see him in a fight against Luke Campbell, and Luke Campbell dropping, which can happen to anybody, but it just was, you're just not expecting it. It's like, what? He dropped his right hand, Luke Campbell throw the loop and left, and boom. You know what I mean? His arm kind of was like underneath him. I'm like, oh, he might not get up. Usually when dude's arm is like, you know what I'm saying? His arm was under, I'm like, oh, I ain't want to see him go out like that in that fight. I'm like, he got to get to I want to see these dudes be at the top level. And then, like, because they so big, if they get to the top level and lose, it's like, all right, somebody had to lose and fans got to respect it. But I didn't want to see him lose that one. So him getting up and then stopping him, that showed me something from him, kind of like the Anthony Joshua situation. Like, it showed me something, because I never thought Ryan was like a pretty boy, Instagram, nothing, because I had watched him enough where I'm like, man, this dude, like, can fight. He got speed, he got power, he tall, he rangy, like, he confident. So I think Ryan is a real threat. I think Tank has just been blowing up. He's just been getting bigger and bigger. He got a following. I feel like he boxes better than people give him credit for. To be like that small and always be able to find his way close to dudes and hurt dudes. Like, I think his skills is, it'd be crazy to me how people talk about, like, he got power, like he's not a good boxer, like he don't have skills. And he's a great athlete too. Like, when you watch him, it's like he do some athletic in there. Like, it's actually impressive, like the stuff that he be doing, like the positions he in, where he generate power from, like the angles that he come in at. So I think the reason that Ryan is so confident that he can knock him out is because sometimes when it takes Tank a little bit of time to get close to these dudes, and trying to get close to him, sometimes he gets touched. Santa Cruz touched him a little bit. Barrios was touching him a little bit. Even the other Garcia he just fought kind of was like touching him a little bit. Nothing really significant, but they was touching him. And I think Ryan feels like you're gonna have to get close to me, you know. And Ryan always catching people on the way in with that left hook. That's his punch. And I think he feels like you get touched, you got to get close to me because I'm way taller. You know, I'm longer. I'm gonna be at a distance, and you got to get to me. You got to get close. And I think he's banking on catching him on the way in, which is possible. That's like my worry for Tank in the fight is like you're trying to get close, and Ryan be getting those shots in where it don't look that hard. And you know, it's like that, and you know, it catches them on the temple, and then they just. You know, it's like a delayed drop. You know what I mean? They get clipped and they keep watching, and then they just, you know, go down. So, like, that's my biggest worry for Tank. And my biggest worry for Ryan is that Tank is going to get to him first.
Don't take much from Tank. Like, we done seen him put hands on people.
I think my biggest fear for Ryan is that Tank is like twitchy and quick and fast, and you know he be moving around and like that. The way he knocked out Rolly was like this dude was moving to his right, off the ropes, out the way, and just boom, like stopped him off that one shot. So like that's my biggest fear for Ryan is that you know Tank is kind of like man, athletic and twitchy and powerful, and you know he's been fighting at this level for a few fights now. So like. You know, that just being a professional athlete myself, I know that once you start getting further along and like the stage becomes different. You know what I mean? Like the lights in the arena, in the building just are brighter. It's like they have different lights and then it's more people. And then there's other famous people being around and it's like a spectacle. It's just different. And I'm not sure. I don't think it'll affect Ryan like that. But when you get on a different stage, it really is different. You know what I mean? The energy is different. It can throw people off. So I think all of those things would be a factor. But ultimately, I can see Tank getting to him first.
So right now, you feel like Tank might have a slight advantage by getting to Ryan first.
Yes, but I think it's definitely a close fight, but I can see Tank getting to him first. But it would not surprise me if put it like this. I think it's a close fight. And I can see Tank eventually getting to him. But he just might have to get up to do it.
Ooh. Do you think there's any chance this goes the distance?
I think it is a chance.
Okay. Are you going to go to the fight?
I don't think they're going to just come out throwing them like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be like, there's enough power in the ring that if somebody just get touched with something decent, that could really get the party started.
I've been around Ryan for a while. And the thing that you mentioned that I think is the most important thing is how he catches cats with that left hook when they come in. Yeah. If Tank come in with his head down, he in trouble.
Yeah.
He in trouble. I think it's a hell of a fight.
I think he might have to get up to get to Ryan. I think Ryan, it wouldn't surprise me if, because Ryan at the beginning of the fight, sometimes he'd be a little like, almost lazy a little bit, like some dudes come out real sharp. Like some dudes come out real sharp at the beginning and then they get like relaxed once they settle in. Ryan almost come out there flat-footed, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's literally flat-footed, standing tall, just waiting for his opportunity. And Tank, man, he light on his feet and, he get in there, he get it off fast. And it's definitely possible. You know what I mean? But I also seen Ryan fight the dude Tego or whatever that was real short.
Yep.
And Ryan just could not hit the dude.
Nah. I mean, Tego was super defensive minded. Like he shelled up.
But I feel like he did, but I feel like he was also like the way Tank is elusive on his feet, just like that, like how he's small and he just like can move in a way that only a small person can move. Like Tank has that same thing about him, even though he's not going to be fighting like Tego was. He has that same thing about him, except he like throws out of it. Like he'll be like low to the ground and move to the side and like throw something. And I don't know, man.
It's gonna be a good ass fight.